Reconvened. Councillors, Mr Chief Exec, members of the staff, members of the media, members of the community, our excellent local board chairs and members, and thank you for being here all through yesterday and back again today. Some of you, it's great to see you. I have one apology for lateness, Councillor Chris Fletcher. I'll move that. Seconder, Councillor John Watson. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Passed. Okay. Councillors, just 3 or 4 directional points to start off. Thank you for yesterday. Good start, and by and large, goodwill. So, good work, and today, let's keep ourselves focused and calm. Within the context of that, 2 things. First of all, 1 or 2 of you were giving me a bit of a reminder that perhaps I hadn't picked you up when you had your hands up in the air. You're right. Sometimes I don't. Actually, you all know, variously you've been chairs of committees, if not here, elsewhere, and chairing can be an exacting art. And so when you start to lose it and get agitated because you think I'm not actually paying you much attention, just sort of remember what it's like to be the chair in this spot. It's not easy, and no one, I can assure you, I'm not focusing on poking my nose at anyone. I'm doing my very best to actually pick you all up and ensure that you each get an opportunity to speak. Now, I do have a bit of a blind spot here to the left and the right because I can't really see.
That's right.
I can't
you
see.
always have. You're much more centrist.
Both to the far left and to the far right. There's a blind spot.
As it should be.
Good to hear. Practical centrist.
I'm right down the middle, Mr. Mayor. So
Yeah, you sure are down the middle, Wayne. Oh, man.
You've ended up much more right wing, Mr. Mayor. You're very right wing these days.
Yeah, oh, way right.
National Party list, I reckon.
Thank you. Okay, secondly, just can you please remember to ensure that you keep your memory and focus on when you have to declare your conflicts. I think by and large everyone's keeping a pretty close eye on that now, but this is all a part and parcel of ensuring the safety of the final plan. Thirdly, as you go through, you'll see we're probably halfway through in terms of all of the various policy reports. And so I've dealt with them. We will not be returning back to them. We have dealt with them. And so as we go through, for example, the first one we're going to go to this morning is on page 39, and it's topic 012. So the report to topic 012, if there's anything else about topic 012, then you need to raise it at this time. Otherwise, you will see the recommendation basically signs that area off. We will not return. That'll be it. That area is concluded and completed. Just wanted to reiterate to you the fact that this is an iterative process, and we are signing this unitary plan off bit by bit. And thus far, we are halfway through it. I just... Yep. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. Okay, now we are going to. We had arrived at page 35. 35. But the Rural Environment 011 also has a similar matter a bit further along. We're going to try and put them all together. So the suggestion is that we reposition that elsewhere later on in the agenda and go from here to 012 infrastructure, energy and transport. Just to let you know, in terms of the day's work out, we'll go through to 11. We'll have a break. We'll go through to 12:30. We'll do lunch. We'll go through to 3, have a break, and then get through to 5 and see how we're rocking. Now, we had dinner last night. Most of you didn't turn up. and I suspect it's because you didn't know we were having dinner.
No, we didn't.
So you now know it. If you are of the view that you would rather go home and or elsewhere at the end of the day, please tell me so we don't waste the time of our excellent staff who prepped a little dinner for us. Councillor Digdon.
I will be going home for
Yeah, me
dinner
too.
at home.
I'm going to Dick's.
A lot of us, Mr Chairman,
I'll be there for dinner.
we've got other
Go to your
community.
place.
I'm not buying though.
Oh yeah, it's a Dutch dinner.
Okay, we will not be having dinner tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, so please note that, staff. Whoever's doing the cooking, don't. Much appreciate the thought, but. Right, Penny, good morning. Right, away you go.
Okay, just reiterating what Mr Mayor has said is that we are going to be looking at pages 35 to 38 when we get to page 80, which then combines both rural subdivision sections together. So we're on page 39 and it's the report 012, Infrastructure, Energy and Transport. The panel's recommendations are largely consistent with Council's position at the hearing, except for the fact that in this particular part of the regional policy statement, we do have a number of policies around the importance of integrating land use and transport, particularly higher density land use should be located in close proximity to our major public transport routes. We think that's a really important policy to have retained in the RPS. It has been watered down by the panel to only refer to all public transport routes. We want to put back in words around our key public transport routes because that's where we should be encouraging more intensive commercial activity, more intensive residential activity. So what we're recommending is that you reject the fact that they have deleted those policies which encourage land use and transport integration, and in particular the location of high intensity activities, and that covers both residential and commercial along key public transport services and routes. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, I'll just start out here, councillors. It's not a question. This morning, apologise for being late to get in here, but I've met with a range of business leaders, just taking on board their views in terms of our transport alignment project and a very overwhelming direction from us that we need to ensure that as a council, the message we convey to the government is that land use planning and transport planning are completely intertwined. And if we're going to go a bit up and a bit out, then the key part of the bit up is that we ensure that we get densities around our transport nodes. And it's happening anyhow. It's really happening. Now, one of the reasons why, I mean, I was sorely tempted yesterday, to be fair, to just say, look, let's just do it. I mean, that was a hell of a temptation. But one of the reasons why I felt it was important for us to just say, okay, look, awesome work, IHP, but some of your nuances do not pick up the fact that we've been sitting with the community for a long time, and I, as the Mayor, have gone through 2 really rigorous campaigns on this precise issue, to actually listen to the people and to help them build their homes close to their transport links. And so if we don't do that and get the messaging right, then we're missing out a significant part of this whole purpose of doing a unitary plan. If it's not connected up.
I'm happy to move.
Oh,
Second.
okay. Yeah, okay, that's good.
That was the Oscar music.
Sorry.
The Oscar music.
That's it.
We go into the opera any minute now.
Okay, right,
Put the
thank you.
motion.
Anything else? Right, put it. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those against, thank you. Right, page 40, urban growth.
So this topic report is the main topic report that deals with the approach to how we're going to manage growth into the future. I think the really important thing here is that the panel has largely accepted the council's development strategy that they outlined in the Auckland plan. And if you read the overview report, particularly on page 10, they do in their list of 1 to 3 set out the reasons that they do support, and I'm just quoting, affirming the Auckland Plan's development strategy of a quality, compact urban form focused on a hierarchy of business centres plus main transport routes and nodes. So it is the officers do recommend that many aspects of this particular report follow the council's case, but also align with the direction that you have set in the Auckland Plan Development Strategy. There are a number of policy matters that we want to bring to your attention, where they do shift from our position. Some of those we are recommending that you approve. Others we do believe we need to reject to actually make sure that we have a robust RPS going forward. So I'll go through the first, each of these individually. The first one is that the panel does recommend that there is a rural-urban boundary, but recommends that that rural-urban boundary gets shifted as a rule out of the regional policy statement down to the district plan level. Yeah. What that means in practical situation is that anybody can apply to the council for a private plan change in the future to shift the rural-urban boundary. If it had been retained up at the regional policy statement level, only the council or the Minister for the Environment could have asked for a change to that rural-urban boundary. So shifting it into the district plan section does mean that council in the future could be in the receipt of private plan changes to shift it. Officers have looked at this really carefully because that was one of our major issues in our case, but consider that we should be adopting the recommendations of the panel. We've checked at the RPS objectives and policies and do still believe there are good enough assessment criteria if we do get private plan changes, and some of the rejections later on firm up that position as well.
Mr. Chairman, happy to move that. Happy to move A.
Oh, second
And I'll
that.
second it.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Right, good. Well, remember, we've got to get to the bottom of this.
Well, I'm happy to move A.
Yeah, that's good.
I think the two are different.
Yep, right.
No more questions?
Any more questions on that? Oh, Councillor Mike.
Just a question, Mr. Mayor. In terms of the rural-urban boundary and its relationship with the new RPS, what references in the RPS will there be to the rural-urban boundary? Will it be, I take it is a policy or a policy objective, but not a method, is that?
You are correct, it is not a method any longer in the RPS, but the objectives and policies do still talk about a rural-urban boundary.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Linda.
Thank you. With the coastal towns and villages, I just want to be reassured, you said the staff had looked at it and feel like,
We haven't got to that.
oh, sorry, we're doing, you're doing,
I'm doing one by one, so.
oh, sorry, you mean capital A,
Just
not
doing
little a.
big
Thank
A.
you, I'll wait.
Big A, it's all right.
Can't see the rest of it.
Big A.
So the
Yep.
Right, big B.
The second policy matter is the recommendation of the panel that there should be no rural-urban boundary around our rural coastal towns and villages, and also that there should be the ability for private plan changes to grow new rural or coastal villages, or to expand the boundaries of existing rural and coastal towns and villages. Our case at the hearing was that we had not had the time to do look at putting a rub around all of our coastal towns and villages. There was a rub around some of them, but not all of them, and that was going to be work in the future. The panel is saying, well, they don't believe you need to rub at all around those villages and coastal areas. They're not going to be places in their minds that are going to grow significantly, and if somebody wishes to expand the boundary of an existing rural or coastal village or town, they can do that either by way of a private plan change or a non-complying activity consent. On balance, We believe that that's an acceptable approach because if they do seek to do a private plan change, they will be required to do structure planning. The recommended version does indicate any new urban area needs to go through a structure planning process. So we think that is sufficient information and assessment to ensure that we don't get inappropriate expansion of those rural areas or coastal towns.
With that, Councillor Chris and then Councillor Linda.
So just looking at the recommendations, the reasons for not imposing a rub around those small towns and villages appears to me very simplistic, and it says to enable them to grow organically. For me, I'm struggling to see a reason in that.